Well, hey, we better stop right here because we got something to talk about, right? We need to catch up with each other before we go to Jams 89. So, from the top, baby, let's do this right because we got to. Welcome to the Jam Man Show here on
J360 Radio!
Hey, how's it going, people? Welcome back to the J-Man Show here for episode 332. I'm your host, J-Man, of course, and, it feels so good to be back. Yeah, I know. We're here on another Thursday again, but that's just how it goes, guys. I mean, if I can't get to you about something on Wednesday, chances are it'll be on the day after, so you'll have to pay attention to that, okay? Because old boy's been working on some stuff, got some new things happening, and next week you're going to see a bit of it. And then not to mention what I told you guys in the mini bites regarding J360 Jams. So, yeah. It's high time, y'all. It's high time. And then not to mention, I can't tell y'all yet, but I can talk about this. I remember mentioning it to you guys a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, more like last week. Which, in essence, is a long time ago. Why? Anyway. Before we get lost in the concept of time. Yep. I believe you all heard me use this term a lot. It was called Friends on the Weekend, right? Yeah. I use that to describe a lot of things that people do. Some people talk about how bad it is to exist on Earth right now, or how, hard things are. I'm going to be real with you. It's hard to be human. It really is. It's hard to be human because of some things that you want to change and things that you can't change. And then the only thing that you really have control over in this lifetime is basically your own behaviors and who you are. That's really the only thing you got. I mean, everything else is just out of whack these days. And then people normalized it. All this stuff that people do for clout, cred, and, attention. I mean, you look at any social media network for that. And yes, while I was going to try to say, hey, let me go ahead and figure this out, I'm not going through that anymore. I'm not doing it. You know why? Because it's like this. You guys will run to the latest technology. You'll run to the latest stuff anyway. And then one time you have a problem with it, the whole thing sucks, right? That's usually how that goes. I mean, God knows a lot of y'all were cheering and praising when Musk bought Twitter, and then all of a sudden you got what you wanted, right? Or a lot of y'all were cheering when Trump got in office, you got what you wanted, right? Or all of you guys that were cheering when Biden got in office, you got what you wanted, right? And same thing for any of these movies coming out and all this other stuff. It's just, everybody's all on board until they see the ramifications and the cost of things. But we're going to go ahead and lower it to a different scale this time. You ever really think that, sometimes the people that you meet up with and the friends that you have are not really your friends at all? You ever think, if anything, they're just there because they do stuff for you or you do stuff for them and they don't really have to complain about much or whatever because, you keep watering them, feeding them and all? That, in essence, is pretty much friends on the weekend. And it goes like this. I don't do friends on the weekend. I always look at the people I talk to, and I always see the people who connect with me. And I'm old enough to know who loves me and who doesn't, in terms of who actually just wants to hang out and all that jazz, or people that just want to talk. If I know that you're around me for some reason, believe you me, because we don't talk any other time. It's just like when this certain musician came around and he wanted to talk about, me giving him some syndication space on J360 Radio. And then at the end of the day, he had to, we were buddies and we were friends. And I was evidently saying this. Yeah, I can see right through this stuff. And no, I'm not your buddy or your friend. And then not to mention all the times he would send me things in the DMs. And then there would be these videos saying subliminal messages and stuff leave everybody deaf alone and things like that. I looked at this and I was like, why the fuck would you send me this? He was like, hey, I'm sorry, man. That wasn't for you. I said, And I was like, yeah, fuck you too, pal. Because here's the thing. I used to always say, come correctly. I used to always say, make sure you know what you're talking about before you present things, whether this is a formal call, informal. Like, I have rules and standards for everything, but I'm not hard to work with. And you notice something, like some people have no social skills or no at-home training. Definitely don't have social awareness. That's why they keep getting into this sort of trouble. And I see it happen all the time. And I can't blame it all on the pandemic. I think this is just people. I think these are just people unchecked that are just walking around like this. Now, as I say this, I am not the most perfect man on this planet. But I had to rise up and I had to make changes for myself so I can get over a lot of these things that people coddle, such as like anxiety, such as like, there are moments where I don't feel like talking to people or things like that. I push through it. Like there are moments where I have introvertedness and stuff, and then there are times where, I express myself freely. Because it's like this. I know there's going to be a day where all of this will be over. And I'll have no control out of anything other than me laying in a pine box. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to live. I'm going to live to my best. Which is why, like, every day when I see people impose rules and impose limits on themselves, such as like when they get like 40 or something like that, you can't do certain things when you're 80, but when you're 40, you're still able to do things. And if you're still alive, you should take pleasure in being alive and living full, because you can start over at 40. You can even start over at 50. But there's a lot of these things right here, whereas we take for granted these things, and then in doing so, we also take for granted the people we share this world with. And I just really shake my head at a lot of this stuff, and I spit on the ground of certain people that take advantage of that stuff with all the clout chasing and everything. Because a long time ago, when I started J360 Productions, all right, I didn't have any intention on meeting people. I didn't have any intention on making friends. I didn't have any intention on like some of the people that are on their podcasts and on their respective creative works becoming associates and friends with me. I didn't anticipate that. I just really wanted to just jump in, make a whole lot of money, make a mint here and there, retire somewhere, and die. That's all I wanted to do. I mean, well, kind of have a harem too and mess around with the females, but well, I do mess around with the females, but the point is this. It was all supposed to be a little different, And see, like, when you have friends and stuff like that, your friends is a valuable gift, too. Just like having lovers. That's a valuable gift in a way. But you got to be able to work with each other. You got to be able to talk to each other. And then you got to be able to understand, like, when you don't agree on the same thing, that's not the cause to end a friendship. People are supposed to be different. That's what diversity is. Not like how it's engineered over with people who are highly progressive and want to push their morals around and all this other crap that they do. We talked about that a lot on this program. But diversity is that I'm a different person than you are and you're a different person than me, and we have no problems talking to each other as equals. That's what that's supposed to be. And somewhere along the line, people have found a way to mess that up. And then there are people, once again, who don't really like you. I mean, they like what you can do, and they like what you do for them, and all this other stuff, because, hey, no need to do any heavy lifting, right, if somebody else took care of all the work. Or no need to go ahead and put myself at risk when at the same time such and such is already doing it. Right? Because a lot of y'all do that stuff. Like, say, like if somebody put themselves into running a business and they're being sole proprietors, they're not going for the LLC to protect themselves and stuff, or finding ways to protect, like, their income, collaterals, and all. They're taking all the heavy labor, whereas like you probably go in there and something's not going right by you and stuff like that, and you call them out on the behavior and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you say, oh well, hey, I can sue, I can blah 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 blah. It's a lot of nasty human nature based shit out here that gets in the way of things. And then like there's the whole point about the jealousy issue. People are trapped in their own vices rather than growing in their virtue. And it happens a lot in my area. It happens a lot in other areas too. People are always out here just trying to be better than other people instead of just working with other people. People want all the glory. They want all the praise. They're just stuck up, or they full of their own damn self, and they love the smell of their own farts. That's the world we live in. And I'm just like, this is really, really sad. Because for every single time that we're all self-serving, we're holding ourselves back. Aren't we, though? I mean, think about it. Like what I said earlier about meeting other content creators and stuff like that. My job wasn't to go to war with other content creators. I protect what's mine. I protect my investment. I keep an eye on my partnerships. I keep an eye on, like, all the stuff that I'm taking care of, because there was time and effort put into this. And, you know, say, like, there's a bigger project at stake, and a lot of the musicians I know, some of y'all want to do soundtrack scoring and stuff, and that's me helping you out with that, you know? Like, it should be all about coming together and coordinating, but then there comes that part where the egos come in, or it comes that part where the credit is not given where it's due. Like, dare I say it, but certain people I don't work with anymore is usually because of some stuff that they done did that ruined the partnership that I'm over here trying to maintain. It's like when I invite you over to J360 Radio and you are there to listen to the music, mingle with a few people, have some decorum in how you come across. You know? If you know that you're doing something and I tell you, hey, guess what? We're not talking about this, then we're not going to talk about that during this whole thing in public. I mean, if we're talking about social issues and all that stuff, you can come right here on the J-Man Show and talk to me about social issues if you wanted to. But don't talk to me about it during jams. Or like, you know, I remember one time somebody was like, oh, you can't do that. A scorched earth approach. I said, shut the hell up. I'm talking about house rules. When you come to J360 Radio, that's like coming to my house, dude. And if I don't uphold the rules, then that means that, guess what? I allow one idiot to do things, then I allow 10 idiots to do things. And it's just laying the law down. And if you got a problem with that, and you get mouthy about it, well, I have no other recourse than to boot you out. Because obviously, you don't care about nobody else but yourself. Or like the time where I did that, it was a Halo night, right? Now, I bring this up a lot because I was very surprised about the stuff that goes up with this individual. Because, see, the thing about it is, I guess he either A, thought I worked for him or thought I owed him something. And we all know how J-Man is when people try to play that game. I don't play that. All right? I don't owe anybody a damn thing when it came to building J360 Productions, other than myself and getting where I need to be at. Because, you see, when you start things and you run things and you put things together and you do right by the people you work with and stuff, you don't owe anybody a damn thing, but they do owe you a thanks. And chances are, you know, you might not get a thank you because people are so full of themselves and it's beneath them to do such a thing. People get mad nowadays when you hold the door open for them, let alone, like, you know, getting a thank you. But the fact that I get these projects done is amazing in itself. And, you know, I do get paid. So it's like, I'm not feeling bad about it. But I also know, like, whenever I got to go ahead and make changes, or when I have to maintain order, or I'm going to have to come up with some new rules because, hey, the people I work with came up with some new rules and stuff, that's just the way that is. You know? And whether you disagree with it or not, it's entirely up to you. But then again, some people, once again, I gave them a shot. Now other people are giving them opportunities and shots, which is good. But I also know this. When you meet people at their lowest low, be mindful of the plants you water. Because some people, when they're at their lowest low, this is about as real as they're going to get. Because when somebody comes in and gives them that opportunity, strokes that ego, make that dopamine high hit, this motherfucker will pretty much become unbearable at the end. To the point where nobody is really appreciating this. The enablers are all happy. The fandom is all right behind them. It's like, oh, yeah, you're incredible. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Yes, I don't have to do anything anymore. No, bitch. I'm going to look right at you because here's the thing. I put you on my show to get you out here, to launch you up. And while you may not owe me anything, at the end of the day, I'm going to look you right in the eye and I'll be like, you were not this way when I gave you a shot. I don't care what Night Ride FM, KZL, or any of these motherfuckers out here do. It's like this. You are a whole different person when I met you. And the thing is that you should carry that same energy you were doing when we talked as people before you decided to be like, I'm an icon and I have no responsibilities like that. Fuck you too. That's what I say. To people who do that stuff. Oh, the popular people came in. Oh, I got popularity. Oh, I released this album. Oh, you didn't create Thriller, motherfucker. Just sit down and be quiet, all right? You had a good run. People, and like I said, people were behind you. But when you start doing insufferable things, they will drop you. People have a way of doing this kind of stuff because, once again, it's friends on the weekend. Like, if they're not inviting you to any of those inner circle meetings and stuff, because almost everybody has one, but they'll throw your name up and stuff, but they're not hanging with you, or they'll go ahead and look over their shoulder, like, to see if anybody that's elite is watching and seeing who you hang out with and stuff. That's not your friend. That's a friend on the weekend. That's almost like a weekend lover. That's not cool. I don't do that stuff because I prefer equality. And I prefer to see people for not what they say, but how they act and how they do. It's just like when working with somebody and say, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then it comes time for the presentation and they didn't have no bit part from their side of the fence done. And just for insurance that me and the other people in the group had the stuff already completed, we just wanted to see what this person would do. They're not getting any of the damn credit. Not at all. See, there are people who are active participants and they actually perform and they get the job done. And then there are people out here that, dare I say, ride the coattails, suckle upwards, and all this other social butterfly nonsense around here. Because I'm social climbing, I have to climb to the top. Yeah, I'm going to be great. Yeah, you will make somebody a perfect end table, you fuck. And then not to mention all the copycats and stuff, all the people that have no original ideas. You got original ideas, which is why, like, sometimes you got to be careful of who you talk to and what you say. But if you're somebody that's always working, always diligent, always on it, you got to watch out for the parasites that surround you. And even the ones that you think are gone, chances are they're going to start coming back because nobody at the top is appreciating them. So they're going to try to climb back down, weasel their way to the shadows, and try to get where you are so they can go ahead and try to sponge off of you. Which is what I made sure I did to a certain bald-headed motherfucker out there. Gave him a swift kick out because he tried to tag himself to one of the videos I had, and I went ahead and I deleted that video and got rid of the tag. Pathetic motherfucker. I owe nobody anything. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes right down to certain individuals out here, apparently they need me more than I need them because they keep swimming around where I'm at. And you see, as I moved from Spreaker, I had to restart from zero, and I'm not afraid to do that. Like, by the way, shout outs and thank you to all you guys who are visiting on Mixlr or on Red Circle, all the rest of it. You guys are aces, and this has nothing to do with you, but I'm talking about the terrible things that people do in general, you know? And like I said, when certain people act like you owe them something and you know you don't owe them a damn thing, and you're just living your life and you're just making things happen, you set the record straight and this person still has an attitude about it, throw them out. You do not need people like this. Life is stressful, confusing, ridiculous, and tiresome enough without trifling, ignorant-ass people floating around. And I'm including plenty of podcasters, I'm including cosplayers, I'm including filmmakers, I'm including all the distractions around us, especially on social media and especially out there in real life when it comes to jobs. Don't you think things are really fucked up enough to the point where we got to really look at ourselves and say, what the hell are we doing these days? Like, I got to check my attitude all the time. I don't know what the hell make y'all think you so damn special that you don't have to. I mean, think about it. Like, I try to get along with as many different people. Like, what was it, Rambling with Rob? Like, I liked him. He was cool. But, if he's going to act elitist and stuff like that, I'm not going to chase him. Or the guy who runs Fans on Patrol, I liked him too. But, once again, if you're going to act elitist and stick up with that dumbass from Colt 45, that's on your problem. It has nothing to do with me. Because here's the thing. When I showed up on the scene in 2016, right, I was doing my own thing. I didn't have to deal with algorithms. I didn't have to deal with too many problems because I did my own thing. I got rid of certain people that I wanted to be in J360 production staff, but they wanted to be the boss. And everybody wants to be the boss until they realize the responsibilities of being a boss. It ain't always yelling and telling people what to do and crap. You got to make hard decisions. You get to see everything. The good, the bad, and oh my God, are we going to make it to this quarter or not? And there's nothing entirely, I want to say, like, is it glorious? It can be, but it just depends on the day because nature of the beast changes, especially in media. And what would everybody trying to be rich, trying to be this, or, pretty much like just whoring themselves left and right to become viral and all this other extra stuff. All I can say is it's just like, wow, we really ain't doing much better, are we? Like, at the end of the day, you should enjoy the journey, but nobody wants to enjoy the journey. Everybody wants to be in that fancy house with the 7 bathrooms, or it takes them about a week to clean the whole damn thing and all. Or, like, out there in certain areas where you don't know about, like, when that tidal wave will come in and just wipe out everything because of flooding and all. Like... Yeah, I mean, I do, and I will live on the beachfront eventually, but nah, not right now. We work our way to that. And, like, whereas I disagree with you, and I remember one time, there was this girl, and I had no intention of dating her, by the way, but she was explaining all this stuff, and she's like, I find myself disagreeing with your Facebook posts. I'm gonna have to stop being your friend. I said, get the fuck out of here. I flat out said that. I said, yeah. Because I was working on something, and she kept going on and on. And I don't know why some of y'all do this, too. Like, I guess because I shouldn't be on a DM at the same time while I'm working on stuff, but it's just like she kept going, racket. All this stupid stuff over nothing. I think I was talking about, like, Spider-Man 2 or something like that and why it was a good film. And she was talking about, like, one of the other movies that came out around the same time and how it was a better movie or something, but finds herself disagreeing with my posts. Welcome to the real world, bitch. You're going to get mad at me because of my posts and stuff. Then I definitely don't want to deal with you, because here's the thing. You are supposed to disagree with people now and again, and real adults disagree with each other and are still friends. That's friends. An enabler is somebody who's going to agree with you all the time and then stab you in the back when they're done agreeing with you. That's how that works. But nobody seems to understand that. And it's terrible to me. The entitlement is real. And I was like, yeah, get the hell out of here. And I say that to any of these people out here, even the people I know now, because I don't keep those that don't want to be kept. And I don't do friends on the weekend. Like, if your cool friends can't handle me being around, then guess what? I don't think they're cool friends. And while we're on the subject here, they're not my friends, so I'll happily tell them to go fuck themselves. And then even to my own friends, when y'all start acting real weird with shit, I'm going to tell you about yourself, and there could be only one or two ways that this is going to go down. Either you work on self-improvement or you get lost. I'll see you when you're done being mad. And like I said, there are certain people out there that are still mad at me because, hey, I called them out on their behavior, and then another thing is, I'm still right, so they're still mad. And I have to check myself a lot, because it's a shame, too. Like, while I'm ready to kick people out, while I'm ready to get rid of people, it's not a good flex. It's not fun. It's not fun because sometimes you have good conversations. It's just like when I was talking about, like, some superhero movies, and, like, there was this moron that kept coming in here, chiming in his 2 cents all the time, when he didn't even see the damn movie. And I'm like, dude, I'm really trying to talk to people to see what they felt about this movie. It's okay to shitpost, but needless to say, not right now. You see what I'm saying? Time and a place. Or like, even the thing is, like, when I'm actually trying to get some polls here, you know, I used to have like a joke poll in there, but it was messing up my analytics. So it was like, we can't do none of the joke polling right now. So we'll do that another time. But, you know, when I'm really out there surveying and trying to get some of this data together, so like this could work for like the next level, I'm really being serious about that. You know, it's all about timing and a place. That's what the best comedy is timing. I'm never going to say that you shouldn't joke about stuff. I'm never going to say like, you know, oh, you shouldn't do blah, 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 blah. You're grown, right? But then again, I should stop using that too, because, you know, just because certain people are grown, it doesn't mean mentally they're well-rounded. Some of y'all are just very, very stunted. And I ought to know, you know? Because for a while there, I remember when I was feeling like I was emotionally stunted. And, you know, the thing is, I had to cut that individual out of my life to make sure I knew I was okay. Well, I wonder how my mom is doing these days. But anyway, look. Yeah, that took care of itself, by the way. So, like, I don't have a complex with that either. It's just like, there are times where you think that you're just being wild and wacky, but then there are moments where you realize the environment around you ain't much better. Some of these people around here are punks. And all these other people out here are just wimps that want to look tough. And then there are people out here that, you know, they say that they're the player in their relationship and stuff. But there's a difference between being number one and being serving number one. You see what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it comes down to how shitty we as humans treat each other. And we all want to run away from it, don't we? Don't we all want to run away from it, but we also want to meet people who love us for us, accept us for us, and treat us the same way it is? Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. If you love me or hate me, I'm still going to be me, and I'm still going to do J360 Productions, and I'm still going to be running the businesses. I'm still going to be going for my dreams. I'm still going to be doing all the things I said I was going to do, because you know what? Yeah, I'm awesome about it. And you know what? I deserve it. And a lot of y'all pretty much deserve your dreams and stuff like that, but you don't see me coming up into your spot telling you suck and this is why you suck and why you'll never ever be great and stuff like that. If you want to go do things, that's on you. And then at the end of the day, some of y'all try to come across as opportunists, and then you want to pretend that you're my friend, try to get me over to your side, and I can see right through that shit. Guys, I've been in this business for quite some time. You don't bullshit a bullshitter. You know, especially a truth-telling bullshitter like myself. But the truth is this. You're just so bad at it. Like, everybody is bad at lying because you can see right through the shit. It's like when some of y'all, knowing full well you have not been in a fight, try to be badass. Or knowing full well that you can't argue well and you try to be a smartass about stuff. It's like, no. You don't know how good my clapback game is, do you? And then all of a sudden I hit you with that same energy, and now the mute's back, right? There's no sounds at all from you. It's just really, really fucking sad. But that's the stupidity of the world, man. You know, and I look at y'all, and I always try to say, like, where can we improve from this? Well, the number one thing is self-acceptance. And another thing is, you can't tell anybody who they are if they know who they are. Keep that in mind, all right? Now, you can tell them about certain things where they can change, but you know what? They got to be willing to change on their own. You don't guilt trip people. Like kind of like when that girl is not talking back to you when you send her a message, or kind of like when sometimes that it could be like, this isn't going to work, it's time to move on. Let that help you for a little bit. Just be honest about things and be mindful about who you are. And then take a look at your friends sometime. If your friend only shows up whenever you got something new or whenever they want something, that's when you know not to put so much energy into this stuff. But if you got friends that are wanting to see you, wanting to talk to you, wishing that, you know, you have good health and where you want to be at and all the other cool things in life, then that is someone of value. And, if you know what your situation is, like, see me, I got the magical number 37 on me these days. And sometimes you start thinking, like, man, it's hell trying to get friends at 30. It's impossible to date at this age. Well, you're only going to get older, motherfucker. I mean, just remember that. But you try anyway. You try. And don't try hard. Just be who you are. The right people usually do come. And if look at life and say life doesn't owe you anything, and, life is just a bitch sometimes, you'll be fine. And then just make sure the right people are around you, and you'll know. Unless you turn a blind eye, or unless you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to have to make do with this. I ain't going to get any better. And a lot of y'all put yourselves in a trap like that. I remember when I was a kid, and I put myself in a trap like that. Because no matter what I would do, these kids were not going to be my friends. So I ended up fighting them. I won some and lost some, but I ended up fighting them. And the truth is, I had a good time doing it. But then again, you realize the useless-ass adults that follow. Because it's not always the fight, it's the aftermath. You see? Yeah. But that story's for another time. Or I may have already told that story. This show's been on for 8 years, But it's like this, though. Like, there are times where it seems like I don't really care for, like, what people do because, well, it's the evil that people do. It's the most ridiculous shit that people do. The game of fuck around and find out that people do and all this other stuff. But I still have to get through this because this is the party. And I still have to go ahead and do the best I can. I'm still running J360 jams. And as a business owner, it's like a little different because the people that work for you, they're not your friends. They're your coworkers. They're your employees. Those are people that, they give up their time, and in turn, we give them payment for it. And we should give them a livable wage. But the problem is everything else is going up, which is what makes it hard for scaling sometimes. And it really, really sucks, too, because once again, people have to gallivant and show off their money, too. Yeah. Like, you couldn't get it. Like, none of us could be billionaires, right? If we really did things differently, or if we did it in the more shitty-ass way, well, not so obviously shitty way that people are doing it. It's a shame. And what's really, really messed up about all this? We still have to wake up tomorrow, God willing, and go through it again. We try to be the change that we want to be in this world and stuff like that, but there's a lot of shit in the world, too. But that's why you focus on what you can control, right? Maybe that's what it is. But at the end of the day, don't be surprised if you're not invited to certain spots. Don't be surprised if those people that liked you one week don't like you the next week because you said something. It's so amazing how timid people are nowadays. It's so amazing that an opinion can really scar you to death like this. I mean, granted, like, I don't know what any of y'all have went through outside of what I went through, but it's like we all have a stigma, we all have a trauma somewhere. We all do. And the sad part about it is we still hold on to it. We don't try to rise above it. We don't try to, because it's work. It's hard. It really is. Mental health is hard. And for some people, mental health don't even exist, right? Like I don't see any of these people coming to ask me how I'm doing today and stuff. And, I look at it like this. I don't need to go see anything over there because there's no invitation like anything. But there are moments where I do check in on people and say, hey, how you doing? Hey, all this other stuff. Because that's what it is as humans. Whether the meaning behind there is real or not. But for me, it usually is. I can go ahead and tell you that. And it's just like, it's really, really tough sometimes. But you'll know what role to play when you need to. And if somebody is not really your friend and stuff like that, don't lead them on. I mean, just cut the line. You could at least do that. I mean, like, why in the world are we... Well, honestly, I don't know. We as adults are just really, really fucked up. A lot of people in my generation are too, because aren't most of us going to therapy now? Aren't most of us like in the generation Y because things have gotten so unreal? Like we just really need to get it together. We need to talk to somebody ahead of time. Of course, Gen Z's angry at every fucking thing, and like, on one hand, I don't blame them, but on the other hand, it's like, fuck you too, because you're not helping our problems any better. And then there's Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha's just, oh, they're about to be a whole asylum of fuckery there. But the community has to start acting like a community again, and not to mention, like, when it comes right down to that, this just needs to be said. I'm not jumping in any more social media networks. Okay? I got the Discord. I got what I have already with the Instagram and the Facebook, and even then they're about to go the way of the dodo too. It's just it's time to go ahead and make some changes. It's time to go ahead and work on a few things. But like I always say, come correctly. Let's talk like people. Let's work together. Let's be pragmatic about things. Like, I'm not going to take your pass and throw it on you. You don't take my pass and throw it on me, which is highly debatable because you guys like to dig up stuff and I have nothing to hide. But it's the most funniest shit I've ever seen in my lifetime. And it's not a good funny. It's just a sad funny. Yeah, that exists. Keep that in mind, right? Among like all the other thing y'all do when y'all try to look tough and all this other crazy stuff, the rap music that doesn't even make sense anymore. I seen your reels. Ooh. I mean, the one thing that we're all equal about is that we're all universally cringe, right? Yeah, come on, think about it. Oh, man. But I wanted you guys to think about that because, like, you notice this with all this elitist behavior going on, such as, like, the broadcast channels, such as, like, the Fansleys, the OnlyFans, the paywalls, and all this other stuff. Now, if you're running a business, I can understand having a paywall because businesses need money. Beers and hugs don't work. I mean, it would be all right to see if we can get some of the people that run utilities liquored up, but it ain't going to make the bill any smaller. So it's just little things like, where do we go from here? I mean, like, for me, myself, I know that there's people that like me. I know there's people that love me. And I know there's people that just can't stand me. And I also know there's people that hate me. And the funny part about it is they're going to hate me anyway because I'm going to be doing a lot of wild things. And I'm going to keep doing J360 Productions like I told you throughout this whole damn episode. So, of course they are. And then there's that moment where, like, I mean, after all, why should I stop? I mean, they're the ones that are jealous. I mean, and if you are hating me because of what I said in this episode, you just wish that you could have said what I said, right? I mean, there's a lot of you guys out here that are doing your own thing, and I'm doing my own thing. And that's the beauty of the world. That's harmony. But then again, if you got people that are siphoning themselves on social media and all that crap, yeah, everything and anything's a problem when it comes to that. You gotta know when to turn that off. Yeah, but I'm not making another episode on that because we got other things to talk about. But I want to go ahead and touch base and let you all know this. Life is too short and you don't owe anybody anything and they don't owe you anything. And if you were friends at one time, real friends that is, it's a very beautiful thing. But if a friendship has to die down because somebody had to be an asshole or all this other stuff, then let it be. Because lepers don't change their spots all the time and you got to read the pattern. And you also need to understand, like, you are who you are. This is your choice. Whether you want to live your life or you want to live your life pertaining to other people. But at the end of the day, try to make this a happy ride. Because it is very short. But all in all, though, I got to get on out of here. That is my deep thoughts for today. And this is J-Man signing off. Peace.